What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Sunday, another edition of Gloves Off. Howdy. This is a very special Sunday for us here at Slow Fuse Gaming because that one, the beautiful unicorn, has a birthday today. Today, like 26 or 27 years ago, that one was birthed into the world. So, there you go. And she has a hat!
I have a hat!
Look, and I know because mine's all green screen death, I probably have holes in my head. But today is the unicorn versus the snail, right? In an Arena Rex death match. So thanks for joining us on Jen's birthday. Welcome, everybody. Kev Rob says happy birthday, Jentastic.
I see that. There
What's going on? Ganoza with the happy birthdays.
Can I show them my slippers?
You should show your slippers by all means. Look at these damn things. It is the birthday of the unicorn. She has like glowy. You can just put it out over here. Yeah, you can. She has like these glowy LED unicorn slippers that her friend got her for her birthday.
They're so amazing.
We got her an amazing unicorn coffee mug that is this chubby little round coffee mug with little bitty feet on it.
I showed that one day.
Oh, yeah, you did on stream. Yeah, so the chubby unicorn coffee mug is awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Good stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let me turn the vocals down so they aren't ear-splitting. I feel like that was a little tall. All right. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Sunday. Good knows what we see out there.
They're so fluffy, I'm gonna die.
They are, right? Shogoth, they are. They're like super fluffy unicorn slippers, and she can turn the LED lights on. But turning the LED lights on isn't very easy.
It's not easy.
So it doesn't seem. It seems like that's kind of a.
It just kind of makes their eyes glow.
Yeah. So. All right, well, let's get things kicked off here on Sunday. If you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, make sure to tune in live for these shows on Twitch every Sunday at noon Pacific time here in the U.S. We are running this live as I speak. And today, like I said, we are doing the first playthrough on the channel of Arena Rex. Holy heck! Ray Silver with $5,
Ray.
Pumping it up. As always, Sunday's donations go towards Tuesday's giveaways, so we will not change anything that hits today. Thank you guys so much for that. Sub counter, everything that would pile up for giveaways, those giveaways will happen on Tuesday. So thank you guys so much for the support, subs, resubs, and all that good stuff. Muy apreciado, as always. Let's discuss a little about news this week before we get kicked in. Only a couple of topics that really mattered as far as I was concerned.
Happy B-Day from all of us.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
The happy birthdays are rolling in. So a couple companies closed. We lost Spartan Games this week, and we lost Tor Gaming this week, as well as I think a couple of other small guys that I wasn't familiar with. Tor has a game called Relics, or had a game called Relics, and they decided to close their doors due to business pressures in the industry right now, as well as a company called Spartan Games. And Spartan Games made Firestorm Armada, Planetfall, and the Dystopian Wars, and the Halo Fleet Battles and Ground Battles games that they had licensed from Microsoft. So I feel like in that edge of the world that basically Spartan was trying to do too many things, push themselves too thin, always had a Kickstarter going. They were probably robbing Peter to pay Paul. I hate to make those assumptions, but having been in business for a number of years, that's generally what happens when you see a company that's actively involved in a Kickstarter right now. They had a Kickstarter going on.
Somebody likes us.
And for Firestorm Armada. Thank you for the follows. Welcome. Dimitri Loins, thank you so much. But Spartan obviously had some issues with money. Is really the bottom line. The statement that they issued basically came out and said that they could no longer keep their doors open given the pressure in the marketplace, meaning competition that they were referring to. They didn't say anybody in specific. And also that their debt load to their creditors was too extreme with the lack of funding coming in. They couldn't pay their debts, but they had a Kickstarter going, which means, in my opinion, pretty much guaranteed they were robbing Peter to pay Paul. They were creating Kickstarters to bring money in to pay debts they already had, and then once that money was gone to pay the debts, they didn't have the money to continue the Kickstarter that they had already got the money for, and you get into this revolving bad business window. And Spartan was kind of notorious for always bringing out new things and having that gaming ADD and never really paying attention to the community and supporting those games that they had already come out with. I know that Firestorm Armada had some people in the Admirals League on Facebook that were constantly talking about how can't we get our game being paid attention to. There's problems, but they had brought out the Halo game. There's problems. They went back and did something with Dystopian Wars. Dystopian Wars was suffering because they were working on Firestorm Armada. So small company, too many games, not enough money, bad management. See you later, Spartan. Tough news to have to relate. Some of their games are really cool. Saddened to see them go. The IPs, I'm assuming, will be up for sale, so maybe we'll see some other companies pick them up and do it. Same for Tor. Tor was a small company run by just a couple of people, I believe, and their game Relics was a fun little game. It had really cool miniatures, kind of a like an old British, like 16th, 17th century, modernized with weird monsters and creatures in it and stuff. So I felt like it could have been really cool. It was probably a game, the kind that we would look at here on Gloves Off, a smaller skirmish level game with some cool, unique rules. Unfortunately, Tor, again, they are selling their IP, so maybe somebody will pick it up. Who knows? There's so much out there as a way of IP that I don't know that any of these, other than probably the Halo franchise, would get picked up and done anything with, but we'll see.
No, isn't there a Tor that's like a fantasy sci-fi publisher?
Book. Yeah, Tor Books. This was Tor Gaming. I don't think they had anything to do with one another, although it was spelled the same, T-O-R. So I don't know if it was a subsidiary or anything like that. I don't get the feeling that it was. I feel like they just had the name. So sad to see companies go. There is a lot of pressure in the marketplace because the marketplace is growing at an exponential rate right now. So whereas I was seeing some naysayers on the internet saying that this kind of spells the doom for miniatures, it doesn't at all spell the doom for miniatures. What it means is that the miniature market is getting so big that there are a lot of players in it. There are a lot of choices for consumers to buy games that are really interesting, which puts the pressure on the developer to make sure their games stand high above all the rest. Better miniatures, better rules, better fluff, better everything, so that people get excited about your game as opposed to letting it just be another space shooter. Another Warhammer clone, another fantasy game where you've got elves and orcs and whatever. If all you have is what everybody else has, you have to have something shiny and bright that keeps people interested, or they're going to buy Games Workshop, they're going to buy Privateer Press, they're going to buy the big ones that are in more of the stores and not go and seek your game out as much, which again leads us back to why we do this Gloves Off. We're really trying to bring smaller games to people's attention so that small companies that aren't in every game store, that have really good product, get on your radar, and that hopefully you can find a way to go out and support them by doing demos in your own area, getting involved with the leagues in your area, playing the game, enjoying the game for the hobby and for the rules and all of that good stuff. So on the one hand, sorry to see companies go. On the other hand, I think it's bright future for the miniatures world. We're seeing more and more companies coming in and more really cool ideas. So thumbs up for that, and hopefully that just keeps on going. Although I do assume we will see more IPs go by the wayside. So
to enter, only one may leave.
Death Hour it is. So today, focusing today, right in the here and the now, the unicorn's birthday is underway. Myrtle with the resub 11 months in a row. Love yo face, Myrtle. Thank you so much. Today, we are focusing on exactly one of those games. Red Republic Studios in Austin, Texas makes a fantastic game called Arena Rex. That's what you have in front of you right now. It is a skirmish level game. As you can see, it is based on, and by its name, it's based on the Roman gladiatorial arena play. So we have from Mats by Mars, one of our channel partners, fantastic mat that comes pre-printed with the arena on it. If you keep up with Arena Rex, there was a really cool Playmobil. Remember Playmobil? They made the plastic toys. Well, they still make plastic toys, right? But they were kind of like the alternative Lego company when we were kids. Playmobil had a arena, a Roman Colosseum toy set that they made with their little figurines on chariots and plastic horses and stuff that were all cartoony. But that arena set is actually really cool for Arena Rex. The problem is, with the advent of people realizing this, those arenas now are like $300.
Oh, wow.
They don't make them anymore, and so they are now no longer $4
Yeah.
at the garage sale down the street.
Right.
They're like $300 on eBay, and people are hunting garage sales for them. But if you get lucky, if you happen to have a family member that had kids, or if you had one in your younger years, maybe go raid Mom's attic and see if you can find your Playmobil Roman Colosseum, because they are absolutely fantastic to paint up and to give you a really cool three-dimensional, kind of
cool.
Colosseum feel to the game. As you can see, very reduced sized board game. This is a 2x2 mat, so not very much space. Easy to set up on a kitchen table, anywhere you can think of, on your coffee table, for crying out loud. I like games that are played in a reduced amount of space because it again, kind of lowers the bar of entry a lot. Not everybody has a 6x4 table in their house that family members are willing to give up for 3 or 4 hours while you play a game. Whereas something like this, quicker, fewer models, play it quicker, smaller outset, not a ton of terrain needed. As you can see, we've got a bunch of Roman columns here provided by Secret Weapon Miniatures. So these Roman resin columns are really, really cool. Secret Weapon also has a bunch of Roman column debris that you can use to set up traps, things like that. Also for base detailing when you're doing the models. So really cool game, really easy to set up for. On our game board today, again, Mats by Mars provided the game mat. Secret Weapon Miniatures, we've got the resin columns. We've got 3 columns, and then we've got a pit, a doom pit here as well. And we'll explain how all of this works. But those are our only 3 terrain features, and they do play a very big part in the game. They're not just blocking line of sight, making you have to move around differently. Terrain plays a big part. We only really have standard hazardous terrain in the columns, and then we have lethal terrain in the pit. There's damaging terrain that you can put in the game as well, but basically if any model gets pushed to a point to where any part of his base touches the pit, that model's removed from play. As a lethal terrain hazard, you gotta stay away from it, right? It's going to eat you alive. You can imagine falling into a spiked pit or a pit with lions or something like that. So one of the goals in the game is tactical movement. Push all of Jen's models into the pit is going to be the order of the day. Because if they get pushed into the pit, it doesn't matter how much health they have, they die. They get defeated is what we call it in the game. You're defeated and removed from play. The pillars on the game mat represent hazardous terrain. If you get pushed or knocked into a pillar, it will add to your fatigue level. We'll get into what fatigue is. So again, dangerous to move around the terrain and have you get pushed into it, whether it's a pit where you die or a column where you get fatigued, because the more fatigued you become, the less effective you are in combat. So not just a game where it's flat out run at them and take away all their health. That's the goal, right? And the way that we're playing it today, it's literally to the last man, whoever has the last man standing wins. You can play other game scenarios that they have where you can bring titans and beasts, and you play to where your entire force takes turns like tag team. You put your titan out first, your titans face off. Then in round 2, your other guys come out. And then in round 3, whoever's left, your titan and your guys with whatever health they have left fight the final round. So you can do escalation type play like that. It's all included in the rule book. We're just literally doing a hack and bash, Jen's probably going to kill me and win kind of a game. Yeah, that's the way we're doing it. Where's the concession stand? Yeah. Hot dogs are through the main gate. Yeah. Right? So the main gate's over here. Hot dogs through the
stand
gate.
Right down there.
Yeah, everybody's looking to get into the pit.
They got free cotton candy down in there.
Cotton candy and hot dogs with relish. All is good. Houdini, you heard you get +1 on all dice throws on your birthday? Oh my goodness, are we going to let that be the thing? Oh, what? It's in the official, unofficial rules, says Grant Kendrell. All right, we're going to give Jen +1s on her dice. Oh, that's brutal.
What does that mean?
That means if you roll a 3, you'll actually succeed because you'll get a 4. I'm sure you're all for this.
I like this.
All right, it's birthday +1s according to the crowd. I can't say no, otherwise I look like Big Meanie. Assassin Red, yeah, Spartan closed their doors, gone. Do not buy anything from them. They have basically said if you had any open orders or Kickstarter open or whatever, call your bank and see if they'll give you your money back. Spartan's not issuing any refunds, which may cause legal problems for them. But basically they closed their doors and ceased business instantaneously, which is kind of snarky anyway. So yeah, Halo might have been a big thing there too.
What videos? Hey, Pixie.
Judging by the hate dice seem to have for you, Jen is going to mop the floor. Yeah, she might kill me without the +1s. We'll see, but +1s is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the rules and our armies, and then we'll get going and start rolling some dice and let Jen beat me, I guess. It feels like this is just getting to where I shouldn't have even showed up. +1s on birthday. Wait till my birthday, woman.
Your birthday is like a year from now.
Don't
you just
have to remind me. Yeah, some reason I didn't get +1 on my birthday. This wasn't even a thing. All right, so we are playing here with 3 models apiece. You can see our models arrayed out in front of us. We'll talk about that as we get after we discuss the rules a little bit. The way that you design your forces here is really just picking a model count that you want to fight with. There is no model cost. There's no points cost for individuals. Each individual model is technically a character. They're all named. They all have their own special abilities attached to them. None of them are way over the top. The Titans, like Medusa and the Gorgon sisters and things like that, have more abilities that kind of go above normal men, but are also, have some caveats to them and can get fatigued like normal models and such. So I don't feel like anything is just completely overpowered and unbalanced in the game. And I like the fact that you don't have to worry about points. It makes your force easy to put together. You pick 3 models or 4 models or 5 or 8 or however big you want to go, and you pick the ones you like the look of. Pick the ones that sound good on the card. They all have backstories. Pick them by narrative, whatever you want, and put them on the table. There's some really cool ways that models combo together, and we'll see that as we play. But I feel like force creation, super simple. Rule of cool rules the day. Pick what you like, put it on the table, play with it. If you've got 3 models you like, you've got a friend that's got 3 models that they like, as long as they're all soldier class versus soldier class and not 3 titans, 3 godlike creatures versus 3 soldiers, you're probably pretty good. You just want to balance that way. There are special benefits that come with each faction in the game. Today we're playing the Ludus Magnus Gladiator School against the Morituri, which are the Egyptian death cult. And so you get benefits for playing the different factions. So in my case, the Ludus Magnus benefits only affect my army if 75% of my soldiers belong to that faction. So I could include Death Cult. I could include a Titan. I could include a beast that was just a random animal like a lion. I could include other factions people, but if I include 2 from one faction and 2 from another, I don't get the benefits of either faction. I just have 4 guys on the field playing. So you have to be careful if you want the passive benefits and the active traits that come along with each of the factions that we'll talk about. But other than that, really simple, rule of cool, put your army together based on what you like. Play it, roll some dice, kill stuff. The basic rules, again, very, very simple in concept. We're basically just moving, applying fatigue as fatigue comes up, and then fighting fools. And then hopefully killing and pushing all Jen's model in a pit.
Or falling into a pit yourself.
Damn it! I feel like with +1s today,
Uncle Touchy, yes, I got my hat.
It will be.
It's my birthday. I should have a hat.
It's the unicorn's birthday. She got her unicorn hat. It looks good. It looks very good. Grunhurt says he's had Arena Rex since the Kickstarter and never even played it. What? You're missing out, my friend. Hopefully we give you the gumption to break it out and start playing, because it is a fantastic game. So basic movement. Each one of your guys has on their card 4 stats. You've got movement, attack, defense, and armor. So very, very simple stat-wise. Your move is just a number. In the case of Mycon, my big guy here, he's got a move stat of 5, which means he can move up to 5 inches. He's got an attack of 6, meaning he rolls 6 dice when he goes on the attack. He's got a defense of 3, meaning that he rolls 3 dice when a Jen attacks me. And he's got an armor of 0, unfortunately, which means he doesn't deflect any damage done to him. All damage is applied with no minuses. And then that's it. So each guy has a guy or girl has a move, an attack, a defense, and an armor stat. Very simple. The way the mathematics work, roll your dice. If I've got an attack of 6, I would just roll 6 dice. Every die of a 4 up is a hit. So in that case, I rolled 4 that were above a 4, so I would get 4 hits. If Jen was defending with 2 dice, she would roll her 2 dice. Because of her defense stat, she gets even +1, that doesn't work, but the 5 is a success, takes away 1 of mine, gives me 3 net successes. So if I get 4 successes, she rolls 1 success against me on defense, I remove 1 of my successes, and I'm left with 3. Then each card has what's called a damage tree. And unfortunately, our soldier cam bit the dust, so let's see if we can turn the dice cam on here. And I will just show you in the dice cam if it will allow me. Each card has a damage tree. And that damage tree starts at the top, and then it works its way down based on your net results in combat. So if I swing and get 3 hits, I count down 3 boxes and apply those results in order on what they read. And in this big guy's case, every one of his first 3 attacks is a push. So it does 1 damage, and then it also pushes the opposing model an inch away, although his special abilities allow it to push up to 2 inches away, and then he makes a follow-up move. So a lot of the movement happens during combat as well. As a big dude punches you in the face and you're backing up away from him, it does a damage, he keeps coming at you and pummels and pummels and pummels sometimes. So you read down your damage tree. There are a multitude of effects that can happen. The push allows you to hit, do 1 damage, push a model 1 inch away from you, and move up to 1 inch towards it. Which provides you with some unique tactics because the model is pushed directly away. So if in combat a model is hit and push is activated, it pushes directly away from you, from the center of your base, directly away from your facing. But in your follow-up move, you do not have to move directly towards them, because on my damage track, my next success is also a push. I may want to get him towards that pit. So I may choose to move my follow-up move this way so that my next success pushes directly away towards the pit. And then when I follow up, I may come over here, and my third success is a push directly into the pit. So your follow-ups don't have to be directly towards the model. You're not just pushing and moving in a straight line. You have the option to move so that your next push pushes them at angles. So you can imagine this swirling melee. I hit you once and I follow up to your right to break your guard on your right, and then follow up to your left, and I get you pushed in this zigzag across the field. So some unique combos that can be done with the push. The next thing that happens on your tree are just boxes with numbers that do extra damage. So you may run into a box on your tree that has a 4, that'll do 4 damage as opposed to the standard 1. There are, what is the round one? Reversal? Is that what that's called? Yeah. I forget what it's called.
It was reversal.
Reposition. Also does a damage, and the attacking model may move up to 3 inches. So it's kind of along the lines of a push, except you don't push the enemy. You hit them, and then you can move around behind them. So if your next one was a push, you could get the reposition, go around them to the side, and then push them in a different direction. Or move 3 inches away from them if it was your last success and you just wanted to make sure that in your next combat, they weren't going to be able to get an easy hit. They'd have to move towards you first. So there's a lot of tactics in the application of damage. It's not just walk up, hit, do 6 damage, mark it off, go do your next action. A lot happens on the damage tree that also moves models, positions them, sets them up for your next attack. Very, very cool in that manner, because it also gives a really cool narrative, as we saw last night, that it's more like, not many games do this that I know of, right? Some games after close combat, you make a morale check, and if you fail, you break from combat and run away. And so there's a narrative there. This literally has an ever-evolving narrative in the combat. You know, she runs up to me, hits me, and I'm dodging, and you're moving around the battlefield as this attack happens. It doesn't just happen in one place. It's not like 2 dudes stand and rock'em sock'em robots, right? We just stand still and punch each other in the same place. You're literally moving around the battlefield as combat happens. And you also have movement as action. So hopefully we'll see some lots of fast and furious movement around this place. So that's movement. Combat, the way the turn works, as you'll find, is that it is an alternating activation. I'll move a model, Jen will then activate a model, I'll activate a model, she'll activate a model, until we've each activated all of our capable models in a turn. And then of course it goes on to the next turn. There is no real turn limitation here. You could define one if you wanted, but since we're playing just basically, attack and last man standing, we'll just play the turns until there's only one model left on the table. During that turn order, we bring in what's called fatigue. During your model's activation, you have a model. You can choose to move. You get 1 movement up to your full move value, and you can move anywhere up to your move value. So with this guy, it's 5, so I could move like 3 inches if I wanted to. You can do 1 move each turn with a readied model. A ready model has no fatigue at all, just a standard model. There's no fatigue counter. We've got these fatigue counters here that we'll be placing down next to our models. If he doesn't have a fatigue counter at the beginning of the turn, you can move for free. And then you can take other actions like attack or heavy attack. Or you can move again. If I choose to move again, like say I want to move another 5 inches, I can move another 5 inches, but my second action will give me a fatigue token. And a fatigue token just means I'm getting tired right then, all right? And if I start a turn with a fatigue token,
can't do anything.
you don't get to do anything that turn with that model. Even if at the beginning of each turn, you can remove 1 fatigue from 1 model on your team. But that model still technically started the turn fatigued, so cannot activate, but will be ready for the next turn and is actually in the ready state during that turn, which allows them to kind of react to other things. So as long as you don't start with any fatigue during the beginning of the turn, you get 1 move for free, and then you perform other actions. If you perform another move, if you attack, if you heavy attack, it applies 2 fatigue. And what happens to you after your fatigue state is we flip the token, and the token has a little cross on it now, and that means exhausted. And I'm sorry I didn't paint these up with the camera. I was thinking we'd have the soldier cam, but it died. So we will just call out to you guys when we're fatigued and exhausted, because I don't have a color to show you the difference on the flip, and I don't know if the camera is actually picking that up. Exhausted, I cannot react to anything. I cannot move. During the next turn, I can't do anything with that until what happens in a clear turn. And a clear turn is when all of your models start in the fatigued state. So none of your models can do anything at the beginning. That turn, you can remove 1 fatigue from every model. So if you have a model that started exhausted, you can turn that down to just fatigued. Fatigued has level. Level 1 is fatigued. Level 2 is exhausted. When you get to remove 1 fatigue, exhausted goes back to fatigued. Simple fatigue goes back to ready. So we'll discuss that as we go, but it puts a really unique twist on you can't just activate all your models to their fullest every turn like most other games. You can't just charge in, fight, and then on your next turn, take that same model, charge in, and fight. You have to think about fatigue. Well, unless you're the unicorn who's playing Morituri, and every clear turn she can remove all fatigue from all models.
All my models.
So her exhausted, she can basically exhaust every model every turn.
So I can go full on.
Yeah, literally the death cult is all, it seems like the death cult is all about get in your face, exhaust themselves, remove all of that exhaustion on a clear turn. That clear turn, all you get to do is react. But then your next turn, exhaust them all again. So you can literally take your free move if you're ready, take your free move and then attack twice if you want to, and go to exhausted state. And then if she does that with all of her models, then her next one is a clear turn where you can't do anything because all of them started fatigued or exhausted, but she removes all of her exhaustion and then gets on her next turn to do it all over again. Whereas for me, if I exhaust one of my army, I have to wait basically 2 turns before I can do anything with that guy. Because I can only remove 1 fatigue from a model. So if it's exhausted, I can move it to fatigued on a regular turn, but he still can't do anything. And then the next turn, I could remove it to ready, but he still can't do anything. And then on the 3rd turn, he can finally do something again. So my team has to play a little bit more cagey and not try to exhaust myself, whereas I feel like the Morituri get to be a little bit more in my face. So we'll see how this works. That plus birthday plus ones might spell the death of me very early. We'll see.
Uncle Touchy said that I did a really nice job on my models and I should paint more on stream.
Right? She killed them.
They're beautiful.
She did a great job with all of her models.
I really like this guy with his big gut.
Stick him on the dice cam. He's got, that's Uncle Touchy painted all these guys.
Uncle Touchy painted them.
That's Urkek with his huge axe.
He's got
his big gut,
big belly.
his big belly and his huge axe.
And he's got a cool beard.
He's got the tut beard.
Yeah, it's like all wrapped.
The tut beard. So fatigue plays a huge part. What else? I think that's really the basis of everything. It's just how all these rules play together.
When do we use the tactics?
Special abilities. So turn order. A regular turn occurs when you have models that you can move. A clear turn is what you're forced to take if all of your models are fatigued at the beginning of your turn. You cannot activate any of your models. You can simply remove fatigue from them. But the game has abilities or reactions that you can do. So a model that is in the ready state can react, but you have to be careful, right? So if another model on the enemy team moves, a ready model can basically take a movement away from them. A readied model can perform a counterattack, things of that nature. And I believe that's true. Let's look at fatigue. Before I say this, I don't know if on a clear turn you get to do that or not. I believe it is. Reactions. Da 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 da. You may only make one reaction a turn and only during your opponent's turn. So only one model can react. And I'm thinking it says that you can only do it with readied models. So if you're fatigued at the beginning, a model that begins the turn fatigued may not activate. A fatigued model may not take a reaction as long as it is fatigued. A fatigued model may not make a reaction as long as it is fatigued. Okay, so if you remove a fatigue at the beginning of your turn and that turns that model ready, that model can react, but only one model can react per turn. So you only get one reaction, so you have to choose them wisely. But you can counterattack with your reaction, you can move. So it gives you the ability to feel like you can do a little something, even on a clear turn, as long as you do remove, well, like all your fatigue, like you will. So that's the two types of turns that there are. You'll find us, again, I think it's the management of fatigue along with trying to do enough actions to cause enough damage to the opponent that really brings all the tactics of Arena Rex into play. We talked about terrain, the tactic of wanting to move and position so that your damage tree, if you have pushes, will push them into pits of death, push them into columns, because the first time during any action or during any attack you are pushed into a column, in this case columns is all the terrain we have, then you will gain a fatigue. So you can see how you can really mess up that player's turn, because that player can't perform an action if their model's fatigued. So if I go and attack a model that hasn't activated and can get a push and push it into a column, then she won't be able to activate that model that turn, because when it comes time, that model's fatigued and can't do anything. So you have to be careful in how you position. I feel like there could be a lot of dancing around trying to gain position and then going in all at once. Unlike me, I'm just going to go fight. So that's kind of the goal. So with that, I guess let's talk about our armies and get to rolling some dice. What do you say? Sound good? Mm-hmm. You're being quiet.
Sounds good.
Making sense? She just knows she's going to kick my ass. So she's just over there going, can we just get this over with? So we'll start with me. I have brought from the Ludus Magnus school, we're basically playing with the starter boxes for both Morituri and Ludus Magnus. So the three models that come in the starter box are in front of me. I've got Mycon, my big guy. He's kind of a pummeler. We've got the dice cam up over there. So Mycon is my big dude. His stats are really, he moves 5, he has an attack of 6, a defense of 3, and no armor. He's just a big dude. His damage track is all about pushing. So he doesn't do a lot of damage when he hits, but he moves you. And one of his things is momentum. And momentum, he can make a 2-inch follow-up move when resolving a successful push. And so I get to move further around you so that I can guide my pushes. Remember how I said if I push a model, I can move an inch, but an inch laterally kind of doesn't give you the best angle. 2 inches, though, basically allows me to change 90 degrees around a model every time I push it with this guy. So if I push you one direction, I can move enough to then be able to push you 90 degrees the other direction and move you around the board and hopefully get all of our models into the pit before I die. So.
Did you already say that it's 1 inch? Is the range?
1 inch engagement range. Good. Okay. Yep. Good. Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. Unlike a lot of the miniature games that we're used to, you do not have to be in base-to-base contact in order to fight. You just have to be within 1 inch. Any part of the opponent's base is within 1 inch from the rim of your base, and you are now engaged. And that counts for things like reaction. There are a lot of models that have an ability like my next model, Marcus Furious, has Entangle, meaning that any model that's engaged with him, meaning within that 1 inch, if it moves out of engagement, it takes a fatigue because he's got it netted. So you wind up with kind of an ability to get, again, that strategy of moving a model close can cause your opponent problems, even if you don't have the action points to attack with it. Because you may move close on your last action, not even attack, but in order for them to move anywhere, they're going to take that fatigue, which then causes them all sorts of problems later on too. So there's not just the rolling dice part of it that causes issues. So Mycon has got Atlas Throw, meaning that anytime, I think it says this, I generate 1 favor when I hit the Atlas Throw on my damage chart, which is like down at the bottom of my damage chart, unfortunately. But then I can throw it as a push, but D3 inches instead of 1. So again, he's a big dude whose whole status is pushing your guys around. He doesn't do a lot of damage. At the bottom of his damage tree, he has a 4 damage block. Other than that, each one of my successes only equals 1 damage, but pushes you across the battlefield into columns, into pits of death, things like that. So he's just a big opposing force. Marcus Furious, my second guy, has got a net and a trident, and he will basically be able to... is Marcus Furious right there? Sorry, we're having to use the dice cam, which is horrible for this. Our soldier cam died today. Marcus Furious has got a move of 6, an attack of 5, defense of 3, and actually has a little bit of armor. He's got armor of 1. His damage track mostly does a lot of damage with that trident. So he does 2, 2, 3 damage. He can gain favor on some of his. He can move around you. But his whole thing is that entangle, so that when he's close to you, enemy models that want to get away from him have to take a fatigue. And then he also has Harrier. Whenever an enemy model engaged by this model, so within 1 inch, removes fatigue, I generate 1 favor. We didn't talk about favor a whole lot. Favor is a huge aspect of the game as well. You'll see these red dice that we've got over here on the side. Let me turn the dice cam off. So we'll put them here, like towards the center of the board there. All right, so we're on our big dice, we're tracking our favor. Each faction starts, or each team starts with 3. This is the favor of the crowd. You can imagine the crowd in the Coliseum roaring their approval or disapproval as the fights go on. So certain things that you do, the first model that performs an attack against an enemy during the game, so that first attack ever, generates an additional favor. So if I get an attack on Jen first, I would move up to 4 favor. Okay, as opposed to 3. Certain aspects on your damage track. If you get 3 successes with Marcus Furious, the first one does 2 damage, the next one does 2 damage, and the third one does a damage and gains a favor. So I would go up to 5 favor on my dice. So the crowd's standing on their feet and starting to cheer as I'm beating this guy back. And then you can spend favor. Each model can spend up to 2 favor per turn on itself. So if I'm sitting on 5 favor and I want to do an attack with Mycon, I can spend a favor, right, up to 2. So I could go down, I could either go spend 1 and go to 4, or I could spend 2 and go down to 3 favor and add dice to my attack, let's say, or add dice to my defense. So you can spend those favor points to add dice to your pool, or to do tactics and benefits during a clear turn. And our benefits cards we'll get to after I determine, or I tell you the rest of the force. So favor is something that also plays in and gives you bonuses, because you'll notice that we never talked about +1s to hit or any kind of bonuses for charging. There isn't any of that. You do things that build favor, and then you take your favor and spend it to add more dice to your pool and chance for more successes. One of the benefits for my Ludus Magnus school is that each of my models can spend up to 3 favor as opposed to 2. So I can add a lot of dice per model every turn, both on attack and defense, to try to stay alive or to kill, whereas her force can only spend 2 per model, right?
Uncle Tachi said I should get +1 favor because it's my birthday.
She already gets +1 to dice rolls. She can't get +1 to everything.
But that's from the crowd, so that would literally be favor.
You guys. You guys are killing me.
I'm taking everything I can get, you guys.
She already got, okay, she gets +1 to dice rolls and +1 favor to start the game. You guys are killing me already. I see where the love is. All right.
You might not have been here when I got the +1 on the dice rolls. So
all right.
You might not know that.
Durr. Durr.
Still gonna take it, though.
I'm feeling the love. Last but not least in my list is Inflix. Inflix has a move of 7, so he's the fastest guy on the board. An attack of 6. A defense of 1 and an armor of 0 again. So no armor and only 1 defense dice. So he's fast. He's a glass cannon. He has a really neat damage track. I can choose to either go all damage or I can do some pushes. So I get to choose. You'll notice that on particular models, their damage track splits off. Notice how his starts at the top and then goes off like a pyramid. So I can either choose to go down the left leg that gives me pushes, or I can go down the right leg that's all damage. 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage. So if I'm really trying to get a model dead and it's close on its last leg, then I can do 3 damage, reposition, and then do 3, 3, 3. So on a 5 success attack, I could basically do 13 damage, which I think is enough to kill just about any of her models. So I could do 13 damage if I get a 5 success and kill a model flat out. Now, I don't have much defense. I don't have any armor. I don't have a lot of health. I've only got 11 hit points. So like I said, he's a glass cannon. But if I'm up against a model that I don't think I can get the damage on exactly, then I could choose to push him into a pit or something like this and use my push set. So you get to choose, but you can't mix them. if I get 3 successes, I go 1, 2, and then I got to choose to either go left or choose to go right on that attack. On any subsequent attack, I can choose to use different legs of my damage tree. So very cool there. Inflix is swift, meaning that no one else gets to react to his movement or his first action every turn unless they are also swift. So because of his speediness, you don't get to counterattack him if he attacks you first. You don't get to do any reaction. All you can do is defend. So for him, it's kind of like, think assassin, right? Think get him up close, get an attack in, and then get away, right? Hopefully I get enough because my second success is a reposition, which means I can get in, attack, move away 3 inches if I need to. So, you know, a little bit of that kind of rope-a-dope, fast feet boxing mentality from this guy because he's a little bit lighter weight as far as overall ability to take hits at the other end. And then for the Ludus Magnus benefits on my card, I get Flourish, which is a passive ability. Ludus Magnus gladiator models in my cohort earn 1 favor if during an attack I make enough successes to get to the bottom of my damage tree and still have successes left. Instead of, because there's nothing you can do with those, if they extend past the bottom of your tree, you get favor for that. So I get favor. Circus Maximus is another passive ability for me, which means that all of my gladiators can use up to 3 favor per turn each, adding dice. And then the only tactic that I have, and tactics are the closest thing I can say is that tactics are kind of like the magic phase in other games, but they aren't magic. You're not casting spells necessarily. They are things that you can only activate during your clear turn, and it makes certain that you have, as long as you have favor or a method to get favor by cutting yourself, you hipster emo Egyptians over there. One of her benefits allows her to take 2 damage on a model in her cohort and generate favor for that. So so they're cutters, so you can't be trusted. But tactics give you an ability to do an action, a kind of a global action on a clear turn where you couldn't otherwise activate models. My Rouse tactic is that I can fatigue, give 1 fatigue to a model in my cohort, and then I earn a favor. And I can only use it once per clear turn. So if I use all my favor to add all those dice during a turn and I'm down to no favor, then on my next clear turn I could basically do Rouse, give a fatigue to one of my guys as opposed to taking it off, and then get at least 1 favor back if I think I need it for defense or something like that. So we'll have to see. I feel like I got to find the way this works because I don't feel like my wheelhouse is really strong with Ludus Magnus for my tactics. I think I'm more of a in-your-face, get the fighting done during my action turn, and then rely on defense and swiftness and things like that in order to stay alive, rather than like her army can do a lot in a clear turn. So tell us about the angry Egyptian death cutters.
All right. So the first model I have here is Mago or Mago. What do we think?
We'll call him Mago.
Mago. And his move is 5, attack 6, his defense is 2, and he has 1 armor.
And he's a little bit like Marcus Furious in that he's got a trident and a net, right?
He does.
So he is also entangling and...
Yep, he has entangle, which is the same. And then he also has second wind. Whenever this model would generate a favor from its vitality track, this model may choose to remove a fatigue instead.
That's a really good ability. As one of the things we didn't talk about, as you take damage, so if I show you a card, if you can see this, the damage track is along the bottom here. That's the hit points that your model has. Along that damage track, there will be symbols in the boxes. So in the case of Inflix here, if he takes 3 damage, that 3rd damage generates a favor for my team. So you can imagine as he's getting hit, he's also dancing around and raising his arms like, but a scratch, and the crowd goes wild. And so they earn favor as they take damage. That ability is really strong because that means she could go up and attack and fatigue herself with that character. If he gets attacked back and gets damage done, if he hits one of those spots that would normally draw favor, he can choose to remove that fatigue again, which makes it to where he can activate completely on the next turn. Some really, really cool abilities from the Egyptians that keep them active. It's almost like fighting the undead. Mm-hmm. I mean, Death Cult, you get the idea here, but it's like fighting an army that just keeps coming at you, I feel like. So.
And he gets favor every 3rd damage.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of favor on his damage track.
And then he also has Contempt, where each opponent loses 1 favor for each model they control engaged by this model.
And that's his skull ability, right? Your army, her army has a unique setup to where the last damage block on their damage scale has a skull on it. So in their death throws, when you do that final damage and defeat that model, it does something back to you. And in this case, his is like a mini explosion that sucks favor away from everybody that's close to him whenever he dies. So, and she has an ability, one of her benefits is that during her clear turn, she can spend favor to activate those death throws without actually killing the model. You can just choose one of them. So if she needed to suck my favor away during her clear turn, she could activate that ability for 2 favor. She can cut herself to get the 2 favor. So her army's, I think her army's going to be hard to beat. I was thinking about it last night. And I'm like, she's got a lot of tactics. If she can start wrapping her combos up, I might be in some trouble. And then you guys gave her plus $1 dice rolls and an extra favor. So thanks, thanks.
And then my next model is Zara, and she's really awesome. The first thing about her is that she has an engagement range of 3 inches instead of 1.
3 inches, so she's got a big whip.
Because she's got this giant whip.
She's pretty dangerous. Her big whip can extend her attack range. There are no ranged attacks, but that's how you get that, is at reach. So people that have got those whips, that is our ranged attack. So again, and when combined with another one of her abilities,
she can actually, instead of a push, she can actually pull. Right?
Yep. So if she generates a push on her damage tree, she can choose.
It's like she's lassoing and roping them in.
She can choose. She can either push the model an inch away and follow up an inch like normal, or she can use it to whip around your neck and drag you closer to her. So now you can start to see how her combos work. Whereas mine is not so combo laden. My dude's just attack, and I have good attack and good movement values. Her team's a little slower. But if she's got the big guy next to her, she can literally reach out 3 inches, grab one of my models, pull it towards her and the other model sitting next to her so that it pulls maybe a model of mine into range of yours in combat next turn or your next activation. Or if she needs to, she can make sure that she pushes it away and I'm 4 inches away. So,
well, and her movement is 6.
Yeah, so she's pretty quick.
Attack, defense, armor, same as the others. 6 for attack, 2 for defense, 1 for armor. And she also has the, well, she gets favor after her 3rd damage. We're not doing the mounted one.
No, she has an ability because there is a version of her on a mount.
Her skull ability is that all enemy models within 3 inches are shifted 2 inches directly away from her in an order chosen by me.
Yep. So you get to choose which one is pushed away first. And again, that happens when she dies, so she basically has an explosion that pushes everybody away from her whenever you do the last damage to her, which could actually be used to your advantage if you knew you were down on your last health, but you put her, like if I've got a guy here, and for your last move, you move over here and then die, you can literally bang people into the pit of death and kill them instantly. So I feel like I'm seeing a trend with these Egyptians that they don't really care when they die because they can set it up to do really bad things to me when they crumble to dust.
I think so.
Not real happy about this, guys. Not real happy about this.
Then I have my big guy here, Urkek, and his move is 4, and then 6-2-1, attack, defense, armor. This model heals 3 vitality whenever another model within 3 inches is defeated.
Any model within 3 inches?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So if you beat up one of my guys, you get health back.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, listen to her. She's like, oh, fantastic. He just heals himself every time somebody else gets defeated. Fantastic. So when one of your guys dies or one of my guys dies, he gets 3 health back.
Okay.
So he's going to be the #1 priority to get off the board, I think.
We'll
be pushing the fat guy in the pit.
Taunt. Models engaging an enemy model with taunt may declare attacks only against models with taunt. We didn't talk about this one.
I don't think last night we talked about him.
And then his skull power or whatever is spite, and the model makes an attack.
Yeah, so when he dies, he gets to attack back at his full attack dice.
It's like his last hurrah.
But again, on her clear turn, she can spend her tactic, and the tactic, if you'll read it, allows her to...
I have 2 tactics. The one costs 2 favor, immediately triggers the skull effect of a model in your cohort. So each model's skull effect can only be triggered once per clear turn. But I also have the offering, which I can deal 2 damage to one of my models. That's where he's talking about cut someone, and I'll earn 2 favor. And then I can, so I can do that. So what did we say if I had 3?
If she had 6 favor, she could literally do that 3 times
3
and
times.
activate all of her model's skull effects if she needed to.
Right.
It's not, I don't know that you would actually, because they're all different in different situations, but if you needed to, you could subtract favor from me,
Right.
you could push my models away, and you could also do an instantaneous attack. The cool thing for that is that on her clear turn, you know, even though she removes, because one of her passive abilities is that on her clear turn she removes all fatigue, meaning even her exhausted models remove completely their fatigue and are ready for the next turn. Now, because they start the turn fatigued or exhausted, they still can't technically activate, but she can cut herself, get some favor, spend that favor on Urkek, and it gives him an attack anyway.
Yep.
So even though he started fatigued, he's still going to attack if somebody's engaged with him. And because he has taunt, there's so much synergy in her list, and none in mine. None in mine.
Who picked these this way?
I blame Uncle Touchy. I blame Uncle Touchy. I blame Uncle Touchy. I don't know. I don't know why, but we're just going to blame Uncle Touchy because he painted your army.
Here.
So lots of synergy over there. I can see a lot of things already happening. Obviously, the girl being able to pull in characters. If she's next to Urkek because he has taunt, I can't then attack her. If I'm engaged with him, I have to attack him. He heals. He gets an instant attack if you spend that 2 favor in your clear turn. Oh my God. Even when I kill him, he gets to attack me back. So yeah, I can see a lot of synergy with the Egyptians. I'm liking that list. And this is just a starter box. You want to get into Arena Rex? Go buy a starter box. You get 3 really, really cool resin metal models. And I would suggest that Morituri look really, really cool. Rule of cool, I really like the Ludus Magnus. The look of them is awesome. We're about to see how they play. So without any further ado, if we got any questions in chat, we'll answer those, and then we're going to start rolling some dice. How about it? How about it?
Pixie, I saw the links to the videos. I clicked on them, but I won't be able to watch them until we're done. But I did keep them open and paused, so I will watch them later. I saw that they both said happy birthday, Jen, on them.
Thank you, guys.
The tables have turned.
What did it say, Assassin? She says +1, he gets +2, and forever +2, she gets a +1. What?
And then there's
what the hell? What the hell? What's up, Guardian? Welcome, everybody. Frankie, what's happening? If she needs to suck my favor away. I said that. Exactly, Slade. I just need to give up. Concede. Leave. Start heavy drinking now. How the tables have turned. Yeah. Uncle Touchy's just like, yeah, no more Fuse winning in the game table. All right, let's get going. Let's roll a die. Let's do an initiative roll. So just grab one of your big blue dice over there. We'll roll for initiative. You beat me with a 4. +1 is a 5. So you get to choose if you'd like to go first or force me to go first.
I'm going to let you go first.
All right, so I'm going to go first, which is a good choice. I feel like in this game that setting up for your attacks is going to be your best deal. Each army starts against the wall on your starting zone. So just anywhere up against this wall. And I'm going to choose to activate a dude. So I want to stay away from Le Pit of Doom. So I'm going to activate Infilix here. He's got a move of 7 inches, and I'm going to move all 7 of those said inches, I believe. All right, so I am going to move him out here behind that pole. And that'll be it for Infilix. So to you.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and move my guy here on the left as well.
Well, geez.
And he can move 5 inches.
And that's Mago with the net.
Do I want to get that close?
Probably not, but you're going to.
I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, nothing else?
You guys should tell me what to do here, too.
Nothing else? Yeah, feel free. Feel free. Remember,
Chime
the big key to this, and one of the reasons we do this, is that Jen is not a wargamer by trade. She's played some Malifaux with us. She's painted with us. She sits around and listens to us all the time and enjoys it all, but her actual time on table is very minimal. So any assistance you guys would like to give from the crowd is much appreciated. But you've already given her +1 die and +1 favor, so I don't know that she really needs a whole lot, because she's gonna, once we get in combat, she's gonna start getting it. I'm gonna activate Marcus Furious over here. So you notice how neither one of us are doing a whole lot to expend and get fatigued, because our next action gives us fatigue, and then after that exhaustion. And I don't know that first up I really want to do that, but I don't know. That might be a mistake. Okay, so Marcus Furious moves 6. So I am going to go the full 6 and kind of come over here, keeping close to Inflix. And I feel like I want to do something else here. I feel like I'm going to move him twice. So I'm going to move him up again and get him right up behind this column. Like so. And that'll give him a fatigue. So Marcus Furious is now fatigued. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, to you.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just move her over here.
Arr!
What? Do I go from the front of her base?
Front to front or back to back, whichever's easiest for you.
I'll just put her back here. Team Gluteus Maximus.
Gluteus Maximus. All right. That's it for her?
Yeah.
Ah, you're playing it safe.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Mycon with his move of 5. I feel like we're about to just get all meleeed in. I feel like we're just let's just do this. Let's
just go
him up here. All right, and do I want to also? Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and push it, guys. We're gonna move him again.
You won't be able to do anything the next round.
Well, life sucks. I got to choose to either get him into combat eventually or take more turns to get him there, because they're slow,
That's
right?
true, I guess.
Slower. The table seems a lot smaller than it really is when you start just moving once. When you move twice and you take that fatigue, it's like, all right, here comes the risk. Risk nothing, win nothing. You big man. Or Keck. Bring it, fat
Big
boy.
Dude.
He moves 4?
4.
So he's even slower than I am.
Yeah.
All right, good. Is that it?
I don't know. Should I move him again?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do. They can tell you to do, right? Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
staying well clear of the pit. Exactly.
I don't want to go anywhere near that pit.
Grunhertz is like, yeah, you notice we're all like, okay, let's just play with the columns. I don't want to.
I think I'm going to stay.
All right, so she's gaining no fatigue. I have gained fatigue, so now we go to turn 2. I'm having to move first. My turn 2, I'm going to choose to remove a fatigue, and I am going to go ahead and remove my fatigue from him. But I cannot activate him because he started the turn fatigued. But he is now ready, so that should anybody choose to do anything to him, I can choose to spend a reaction on him if I want, because he's not fatigued. It would fatigue him again, but I'm just going to remove that so he can activate next turn. But for now...
Wait, is it my turn now?
Yeah. Oh, no. It's mine. I still got to move. All I did was remove the fatigue. That's not an activation.
Oh.
That's just readying the turn. So at the beginning of your turn, you can choose to remove 1 fatigue from 1 model every turn.
Okay.
But I now have to activate.
But then he can't do anything else this turn.
He can't activate because he started fatigued, nor can Marcus
Yeah.
Furious back here because he's still fatigued. Right? I did not remove fatigue from him. But I am going to now, with Inflix and his amazing 7 movement here, I am going to do something risky. We're going to move Inflix, because he is fast, right up to What's-Her-Nuts.
All right.
Basically engaging both of those, I think. Yeah, I have to engage both. All right. So, for my next action, and to take a fatigue, with Inflix, I'm going to attack What's-Her-Nuts, Zara.
Wait, he can do that now?
You can move and still take actions. My move didn't gain any fatigue because it's just my move. He was ready. And so now I'm going to take an action and gain a fatigue
Oh, okay.
and attack her.
So the fatigue goes with what you're going to do right now.
With what I'm doing right
Gotcha.
now. Yeah, you
Okay.
get fatigued for taking the action,
Okay.
basically. He is going to, his attack value is 6. So let's bring up the dice cam here. My attack value is 6. I am going to spend one of my fatigue, or one of my favor, to go down to 2. All right? That will give me a favor die. So I'm going to add 1 die in, so I now have 7 dice on my attack. All right? And you have a defense of?
2.
2, okay? You could choose to do your reaction, which will fatigue her, but allow her to counterattack if you would rather roll your 6 dice, remember. But that's something you can only do once a turn, so you got to determine if that's what you want to do now. You're probably pretty safe because I can't activate anybody else, so it might be good to do that now. It will fatigue her, but I feel like you're probably going to fatigue her anyway.
Okay.
So if you want to get your attack in now and have a chance to defeat me, the idea here on your counterattack is that she could technically roll more positives than I roll, right? At which point in time, it would make her attack successful and defeat me entirely. So you can choose to do that if you want. Is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
All right, so she's going to choose to attack instead of defense, which I think is a good idea. So you'll roll 6 instead. And you can spend favor just like I can if you want to. So
For what?
you get +1s to rolls. Damn it. All right, here we go. So it's 7 dice on my side versus 6 on yours for attack.
Do we roll them at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, but one of those successes is my favor die, so it counts for 2. When your favor die succeeds, it gives you 2 successes. You got 4 successes, so you defeat 4 of these, so I only do 1 success to you total. All right, so I still win combat by 1. So on Inflix, his first one does 3 damage to you. So you're going to mark off 3 damage on her, which I think gives you a favor.
It does.
But remember her ability. Oh my God, this is going to be so horrible. What's her ability? Her ability is that instead of getting the favor, you can take the fatigue away. Oh, this was perfect for you. Right? Isn't that her?
Wait.
Or is that him?
That's him.
Okay, good. All right, so you gained you gain a favor, right? So she goes up to 5 favor because she took 3 damage on her damage track.
Yep.
So that gave you a favor.
Yep.
I get a favor back because I performed the first attack against an enemy model, so the crowd goes wild because now there's fighting. So I gain a favor that way. All I did was the 3 damage. I am now going to... I don't think I can do anything here with him to save him. He might just die. So that was, he is going, do I want to exhaust myself and attack you again? Or do I feel like that's a bad idea? I feel like that's a bad idea. I feel like exhaustion for me is a really bad idea, so I'm not going to do that. So it's to you.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I don't even know where I am right now. So she can't really do anything because she's fatigued, right?
Right, you did your action by reacting,
Okay.
so it just allowed you to take that earlier,
now
which was good
I'm on
because
this
I rolled
guy.
I rolled 5 successes, so I would have done a lot more damage to her. So that was the right idea to do
So
that.
this guy is in range here, right?
He
so
is.
I can attack.
Yep, you can attack.
So I'm going to attack this guy right here.
Okay,
And so my attack is 6.
so he's got 6 attack. I cannot, because I am fatigued from my move, I can only defend. Inflix only has 1 defense die. I will then, for my second favor this turn, spend and gain a favor die so that I can defend with 2
When do we go into this part right here?
when you succeed.
So if I win, then I go to
If you win, then you start counting down your tree.
Okay.
So you're attacking with 6.
Yep.
You going to spend any favor to add dice? Oh,
you need
she's
to.
like, no, I get +1 to all my dice already
Oh,
because
you
it's my
only have
birthday.
2. You only have 2.
Because it's my birthday. I mean, why not?
Oh, look at them all.
Somebody
Oh,
likes
she says, oh, look at them all.
I only had 1 that didn't.
Did you hear her?
But
She
look,
says, oh,
only,
look at them
only
all.
1 benefited from my +1.
All
The
right,
rest of
well,
them were just good rolls.
I got
Just a
1
good
success, but my 1 success was on my favor die, so that actually counts as 2. So you remove 2, so you get 3 net successes. So you count down your tree 3
so
times.
I go 3 times. Wait, I'm on this guy,
Yeah,
right?
so you can choose.
Okay.
You can choose at your top because your top is either do damage or push.
Right. So I think, how many damage do I have?
Well, you get to go down 3
I
times.
get to go down 3. So
you're going to do a push regardless.
right. So I'm going to do, it doesn't matter. Push 2 and 3.
Okay. So
Or 2, 3, and push.
So you're going to do
either
a total of 5 damage.
Right.
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 At 6 damage because the push does 1. You've got a 2 damage box and a 3 damage box. So you just did 6 damage to him. I have no armor. I've got no armor, so I don't get to rebuke any of that. So I'm going to take 6 damage.
And the push goes where?
The push goes directly away. So the push will push me here.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can follow up an inch to stay engaged with me. All right. So 1, 2. My 3rd box gains me a favor. 4, 5, and my 6th box gains me a favor. So I am up to 4 favor again, and I'm nearly dead. Probably a very bad use of Inflix there, but I feel like I needed to distract, so that's what we're doing. All right. I can't activate anybody. I don't believe, right? Because I was fatigued at the beginning of my turn with him, so a model that begins the turn may not activate. Yep, there you go. All right, so I have to turn it over to you because both of my models were at least fatigued at the beginning of the turn, so I have nothing else I can do. Well, yeah, I can't activate. Yep, so you're good. So you get to go again with your big dude.
I'm going to move my big dude. And I don't know, I think maybe I'll move him twice.
Ray Silver says if he was going to die anyway, exhaust his ass. No, because he wasn't going to die, right? I still have damage. I guess the problem now is that how am I going to? Should I have exhausted? We're learning. I should have exhausted and gone ahead and take the 2.
This guy,
he's fatigued
engaged.
now.
He is fatigued.
He's
now.
fatigued. You don't get a free attack. Your first action as a move can be free.
Okay.
But if you attack, it always gains a fatigue.
So I'm going to go ahead and move.
He could attack again and go to exhausted. So see, this is one of those times whereas Morituri, because your exhausted state doesn't do the same damage to you as mine does, right? If you're exhausted and then you get attacked when you're exhausted, so I didn't exhaust my guy because I knew I was going to get attacked. Whenever you get attacked and you're exhausted, the attacker gets to add 1 success.
Oh, can you take this off?
Immediately. The attacker gets to add 1 success to their rolls immediately and an automatic push.
So if so before I move this guy, I can have
You can
him
spend
attack
another
again.
action on him, yeah.
Okay, and then I'll still be able to move this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do that.
Okay, so you're going to exhaust him, so
Yep.
you'll flip your fatigue over to exhausted.
Yep.
All right?
And we're going to do the 6.
The 6 dice again,
Yep.
right? I'm going to do the same. I'm going to spend a favor and go down to 3 and roll 2 dice on defense. All right? So she may kill me here.
Oh, yeah. All of mine are good.
Ah! She gets 6. I get 3 because I succeed on both, and my white favor die equals 2. So I get 3. So again, you've got 3 that succeed, which is the exact same as last time. So you're basically killing me. So I go 1, 2, 3. Gain a favor back for that one on that track. And then 1, 2, and I'm dead. So Inflix is defeated. Well, you don't get to gain any health because he didn't lose any health yet. I was going to say your big man would have gained health had he needed to because you just defeated a model.
Okay.
But I think it was within like 3 inches or something like that. So already suffering. I thought that my glass cannon would get in and do more damage. I only did 3 damage and trade. That was a bad trade for me. It really was. That was a bad move.
Okay, so now I'm going to go for this guy. I'm just going to move him twice.
Yep.
Uno.
And then like literally right up in my face.
Bam.
Get right up in my face and give him a fatigue. All right. Ah, damn it. All right. See if I can pull some tactical stuff out here. All right, so next turn comes to me. I will choose to remove fatigue from Marcus Furious. Inflix is dead. Goodbye, my friend. All right. He cannot activate. Furious can't activate this turn, but Mycon can. Thank you. Mycon can activate, so we are going to go through, and, well, there's really not a whole lot.
Thug Life Arts and Crafts for the win.
All right, so he is going to first, I'm going to activate Mycon. I'm going to move, right? I'm going to come around this way.
He's trying to push me into the pit.
I'm going to try to get him in the pit. Let's see if we can make this happen here. I'm going to perform an attack.
Okay.
So that will be 6. I will spend 2 favor and go down to 2 to add 2 dice to my pool. Actually, I'm going to spend all 3 of the favor that I can spend on him and go down to 1 favor and add 3 dice to my pool. So that
There's
is
one in there.
Is there one in here still? All right, so that gives me this,
There's that one right there.
this, and
Another red one right there.
give me
They
one
have
of
to
your
be a
orange
different
ones.
color.
Or just give me all 3 of your orange ones. We'll just roll those as favor dice. All right, so I am going to roll 9 dice.
Jeez.
2, 4, 6 is my base attack. I'm going to add 3 favor to add 3 dice to my attack.
Okay, and then I will add. It's one favor per extra dice.
Yeah, you can add up to 2.
So I'm going to do 2.
Okay, so you're going to
So I'll
spend
go down
2,
to
so you'll go down to 3. You can use those 2.
Oh, they have to be different.
Yeah, they have to be different because they count for 2 successes each, right? So I'm rolling 9 dice, 3 of which are favor dice. If the favor dice succeed, that gives me a ton of successes. All right, so here we go. All right, so I got 1 success on a favor die, so that turns one of these to a success. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. And how many did you get?
Well, I got 3.
3 successes?
1 is a favor.
Oh, 1's a favor, so that gives that a success. So you got 4 successes total. So that takes away 4 of my 6, and I get 2 successes against you.
Okay.
All right?
Turn off the dice.
So 2 successes that I have to resolve. Mycon successes are all pushes. So the first one is to push you an inch away, right? You don't have anything that says he can't be pushed, right?
I don't think so. Model heals 3 vitality whenever. Oh, I don't have.
So it pushes him away, and then I'm going to move that inch to over here. So now I've changed the direction for the next push. You resolve each of these in order and apply their effects before then resolving the next one. So I pushed him, moved around. The second push will push further towards the pit, and then I will come in closer, fatigue myself because I attacked. Your fatigue carries on, and take 2 damage.
I take 2 damage?
2 damage, yep.
Okay.
Each push does 1 damage.
Okay.
All right, so I am going to exhaust Mycon, and I'm going to attack again. I can't add any favor now because I've spent all 3 on him, so I'm going to attack with 6. All right, and you can't add any favor because you already spent the 2 that your guy can do. So
Okay,
we're
so
basically
I get 2.
2 defense against 6 dice here.
Okay.
All right, we exhausted all our big gun stuff at the very beginning. Oh, I get to say, hey, look at it. Look
I don't
at
get
it.
any.
4 successes to none.
0.
So this might just get my ass out of the fire. There's 4 6s that I rolled. 6s don't do anything. They're not crits or anything like that. But that's 4 unopposed success. Oh, wait, what is his armor?
1.
Oh, so he only takes 1 damage on that last
Okay.
one. We forgot to take damage.
Oh,
so
right,
take
right,
yeah,
okay.
take 1 away. Remember, you subtract.
That's
I
right.
did 2 damage to her, but she's got 1 armor.
Oh, so did I do that on her?
Did she have armor?
Yeah, she has 1.
So she should have only taken 2 damage, which means you wouldn't have gotten
I
that.
wouldn't
So
have gotten
you'd
a
be
favor,
down
so
at
I'd be
2
down to
favor.
2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to remember the armor
Okay.
thing. All right, so I have 4 successes. I think I just killed your guy, which will be
What?
great. Yeah, I think I did.
How did you kill him?
Well, because you're going to see that my first 3 successes on my
He's
track
gonna
are
push me in the
pushes.
pit.
Are pushes.
Oh, you gotta turn the camo.
So I push 5. I push 1. Come in.
Oh, I don't want to go in the pit.
Push 2 for the second one.
That's gonna be a hard fall. He's a big guy.
He's a big dude. This is going to be some thunderous stuff. Push 3. In the pit with you. All right. Ta-da! I didn't have to do damage later, big guy.
You served me well, kind of. Not
Later,
really well.
big guy. I love Mycon. Mycon doesn't do a lot of damage, but you just saw the ability to him to get you into a position and absolutely nuke
Right?
you.
They said you're mean.
I mean, push it real good, right? 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 Hey, that was a good trade. I lost a guy, she lost a guy.
Yeah.
I feel like this is good.
Yeah.
I needed to do something or this was going to go really quick the other direction. But I had to exhaust him, and you're going to find that exhaustion, was it worth it, right? Hashtag was it worth it, because now the way her team works, you're going to see something pretty crazy. She's going to be back to balance real quick, and I'm 1, 2, 3 turns away before I can do anything with him. So stuff's gonna get dicey, and she's positioned them to where I don't think I'm gonna be able to push them into the pit. So we'll see. All right. Yeah, that's good.
But I can't really.
And I defeated you by pushing you into an obstacle like that, which I think gives me a favor. Does the crowd go wild? Favor dice. Earn 1 favor at the end of my activation. If during that activation an enemy model suffered damage from a hazard and was defeated, and you were lethal pit. If any part of a model's base touches a lethal hazard, that model is defeated. So I get a favor. Bam, back up to 2. The crowd goes wild. Mycon, push the fat man into the pit of despair. All right. So I can't activate. Well, I can. Can't I?
No, because
He started fatigued and I removed his fatigue. That's correct. Okay. I got to remember. That's going to be hard to remember. It's like, because he doesn't have any fatigue now, but I removed it, so we're good. So to you.
Okay. So first thing I do, obviously, is remove my fatigue.
No. Because... Oh, yeah, because he was already fatigued, too. This is a clear turn for you.
It's a clear turn.
Oh,
so I
that's right. I thought that was next turn for you.
No, I just take away both of those.
Okay. Yep.
But then what?
Now you can't activate, so we go to the next turn. So see, this is why this was so good for her, because her turn was a clear turn. She removed all of her fatigue. Yeah, she lost a model, but she gets to start this next one with both of her models readied, and I only have 1 ready model, and all I can do with Mycon is remove, right, 1 fatigue. Arg. Arg. I think that's right. Let me check and make sure I can even remove fatigue from him. I may not be able to remove fatigue from him at all.
Why not?
Exhausted. A model that begins the turn exhausted may not activate. An exhausted model may not take an action or make a reaction. You may only remove fatigue from an exhausted model during a clear turn or as a result of a special ability. So I cannot do anything for him. On a normal turn, you can remove a fatigue from a fatigue model, but not an exhausted model. So I can't do anything.
Okay.
So I have to now create a clear turn for myself,
So
basically.
you have to fatigue your other guy.
I have to fatigue my other guy somehow, which I'm going to do just by moving, I think. It doesn't make sense for me to do anything else. So I am going to move, what is my move on Marcus? 6. So I'm going to move him 6 here. And then I'm going to move him 1 up and fatigue him. So I moved him twice. I have to basically fatigue Marcus Furious because until I get a clear turn, I can't remove any fatigue from Mycon because he's exhausted. So he pushed the fat man into a pit and he's all burned out. He needs a sandwich and some Gatorade. So right now I've got to
dehydrated.
I've got to really try to keep Mycon from getting walloped in the rear end here. So to you.
So now I can.
You move both of yours, yeah, because I'm done.
So I am going to move her 6.
Noam, what's going on? Thank you for that follow. Will Vegas, what's going on? Thank you for the birthday wishes for Jen. I will accept those.
Thank you. Okay. So, help me out here.
Ray Silver, I don't think you gain favor for first kill. Let me check. Good question, but I don't believe that's the case.
Happy birthday to you too, Will Vegas. On the 23rd, 4 days ago.
It's the first model to perform an attack And you earn a favor if at the end of your activation you killed a model from a hazard. That's the only 2 that get earned other than on damage tracks and as part of your damage tree. So no, you don't get favor for a first model killed.
All right, so I moved her here.
Right.
And if I now attack...
It will fatigue her, but you can attack either one.
Her. Well, I'm going to attack this guy.
Oh, God.
Because, you know, she has her lash.
Right.
So I'm going to roll 6.
6 dice.
6 dice.
All right. I'm going to defend. I'm going to spend a favor to add 1 dice. I'm going to defend with 3. All right. So again, she's moved Whiplash Girl and is attacking Mycon, my big dude that just pushed your fat guy into the pit. She's going to try to push him into the pit. All right.
She's going to succeed.
She's not going to succeed. So here we go. Where's this one? So I got 2 successes. My favorite die did not succeed. You got 4. So you have 2 net successes out of that. Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to go push, push.
Okay.
And when she resolves a push effect, she may push an enemy. Oh, I don't want to. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to push twice.
Well, okay. So, blah, 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 blah. This model ignores the push resistance granted to opponents for having larger base sizes. So your first one doesn't do anything. I still take the damage because I'm a larger base. Mm-hmm. Right? I think that's all I got going for me here. Yeah, I don't gain fatigue when pushed into a hazard, but I still suffer any other effects of the hazard. Oh, no. So you gain, so the first push I ignore the effects of. Mm-hmm. The second one I got to do, though. Mm-hmm. So this is the time to tell, and I think I'm going to touch the hazard and be removed. Arrgh! Grrg!
It was worth the fatigue.
This is bloody and fast. All right.
All right.
Grrg! Seriously? Hang on. Let's read the rule. I just want to make sure. I think I only ignore the first one on the push, right? I think that damage tree pushing. Large defenders are more difficult to push. If the defender is on a larger base, the defender resists 1 push generated by the attack, but you generated 2 pushes, so I can't resist the second, so I get pushed and dead. Urgh, damn you and your +1 birthday rolls.
There wasn't any +1 on that one.
Grrg. Grrg. That was good. I was hoping she wasn't going to be able to do that, but she has 3-inch attack, so rats. Okay. This is bad. You can move him now, too.
All right. So he can move 5.
This is good because we get to show all the rules because we're about to show last man standing rule.
And then move him again.
Might as well.
Might as well. Get right up in there.
Ugh, it's going horribly for me. Horribly for me.
And then I may also choose to attack.
Oh, you've got it. See, I told you. She sits around and rope-a-dopes like she doesn't know what she's doing, but she learns quicker than your average bear. She knows because she's going to have to take a clear turn next turn, and she removes all that. So if you're going to get fatigued, you might as well exhaust.
I did remember. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You might as well exhaust.
I can remove all my fatigues.
Rat bastages.
So
okay.
I'm going to roll 6. And you have to roll 2, right?
I have 3 dice to roll, and I'm going to spend my last favor to roll 4. So 3 on defense, 1 favor die.
Oh,
Yep.
We have a hard time with turning that off. All right, that's no good.
I think I only get 2 successes. Yep, 2 successes, and none of them are my favorite dice. You have 5, so you get 3 net successes.
All right, so 3.
Ugh. Brutal. So what do we start with?
Well, I'm going to start with the push.
Okay. So we're going to resolve the push. You'll have to move if you want to continue down your tree, because remember, you have to stay engaged to do the next damage. So you want to do that.
Yep.
So you're going to move your inch.
No, I thought I could move.
You can move however you want. Yeah.
Okay.
You can move however you want.
I'm wanting to push him.
Oh, damn you, learning quick. Okay. Damn you.
Okay. And then the next one is 3.
Okay.
And
so
then
4 damage total. And then another
and
push.
Then another push.
Oh, you bastard. And then you'll follow in direct.
Yeah.
All right. So not quite to the pit. Damn this pit. This pit has claimed all the models. Except for my stupid Inflix that I ran up like a missile. All right, so that was 2 pushes and 3 damage.
Yep.
So 5 damage against my 1 armor is 4 damage.
Well,
So
I thought you had no armor on any of yours.
no,
Yeah,
only
he
this guy
one.
has armor.
Okay.
The other 2 didn't. So 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 damage, and the 4th damage is a favor. So I gain a favor back.
They don't like the dice cam because it keeps blocking because we keep forgetting to turn it off.
Ah, well, you got to deal with it. Got to show you the dice somehow. Otherwise, you never know what we did. I'll just have to get better at turning it off. I'm the worst in the world at turning it off. Okay. So, now we've enacted last man standing rule. And the last man standing rule basically states that if you only have 1 model left, at the beginning of that turn, you treat it as a clear turn as normal. So you remove fatigue. But now you remove all fatigue as last man standing. So even if I was exhausted, I remove it, and I get to activate. So the game is pre-built to make sure that when you're down to your last man, it's just not an instant loss.
Right.
You still have the ability to fight back. Yeah. Okay, so when you only have 1 model left, you get to remove all of your fatigue, so you can exhaust yourself every turn, remove it all, and then fight like normal, like it was a clear turn, or like it was a ready turn for you, right? Okay. So I get to activate as normal. So we're going to take Marcus Furious here, and we are going to move him, his move of 6, and we are going to basically move around behind you. All right.
He's going to try and push me in.
And you're exhausted, so I get to add a free push to this because you're exhausted. I get 1 free success and a free push because I'm attacking exhausted model as long as I succeed in the attack. Remember that. I have to succeed in my attack. So his attack is 5. So I'm 1 less than normal, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to spend our favor here and add a favor die. So I'm attacking you with 6.
Your favor back? I thought you had used all your favor.
I got a favor because of the damage you just did to him.
Oh,
the 4th damage on the trap gave me a favor.
Okay.
All right. So I'm rolling 6 dice. One of them is a favor die.
Okay.
Against your defense on.
And that's that guy, right? So he has a defense.
Magos. You're rolling 2 dice.
But and I can't add it?
You can spend favor up to 2.
I'll spend 1 favor.
Okay, so you're spending 1 favor down to 1. So you'll be rolling 3 dice. Make sure one of them is a colored dice, so you know which one's your double. All right. Let's do this.
Well,
this does not look good to me.
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my breeches with delight.
I have 1, 2, 3. Dang it. Really? So you just negated my entire attack. All right. Rat bastages. All right. She got 3 successes. I got 3 successes. That means nothing happened. But does it... Let me see. Let's read about the exhausted model attacking. Let's see here. Attacking an exhausted model. Do I get the push anyway, or do I not? Is my thing. So exhausted. When an attack is declared against an exhausted model, the attacker generates 1 additional success. In addition, if the attack is successful, I also generate the free push. My attack was not successful, so I don't get to generate the free push. So that fatigued me. We're going to go ahead and exhaust me and attack again. I don't have any favor to spend, so I'm just rolling 5 dice.
And I'll do 3.
Okay, so you're removing your last favor. Yep. Make sure you put a color die in there. You got it? All right, let's bring dice cam back. Oh my god.
I got 3.
Doesn't matter, I got none. I got none. So if you want a lesson in how not to roll your die, that's it right there. 3s, 2s, and 1s I hear don't work for anything. I have to roll 4 or better. So yay me. Exhausted myself, did nothing. Kill me now, please. All right, to you.
All right. So obviously the first thing I do is
Yep, it's clear turn. You get to remove everything.
My fatigues.
Right.
And then...
Hey, somebody likes us.
You can cut yourself, earn some favor, and do one of
Yeah.
your things, but that's all you can do. So the only reason I risked the exhaust there is because I knew she had to take a clear turn, so she can't really attack me because her only dude that could generate a free attack is dead. So I'm a little safe, but I needed one of those to hit. I really needed one of those to hit. Like, really needed one of those to hit, damn it. 130720. That is the most unoriginal name unless it stands for something.
Which it probably does.
It could be AC... What's a 0? I'm trying to do like alphanumerics. I don't feel like that's a name. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the follow.
Okay, so she has terror. All enemy models within 3 inches are shifted 2 inches directly away.
Right.
I don't think that one is worth anything, right?
It would move me to over here.
Yeah. Or his is contempt. Each opponent loses 1 favor for each model they control engaged by this model. And if you have no favor,
I have no favor, so
then
you would gain
generate
favor.
1 favor, right? So I would get a favor back.
Yep.
So if I do that, then
You
I'll
would be
take
better
the
off. You'd be better off to
damage.
just cut yourself, get the 2 favor, and do
Right.
nothing, so that you
Oh.
have 2 favor.
Okay. I don't believe you.
Okay, so if because what you're doing is you're saying you're going to spin, you're going to cut yourself to get favor because you have none.
Right.
Because right now she's trying to determine if she's going to do a tactic. She has 2 tactics. The only way she can activate one is by first cutting herself so that she gains 2 favor. So one of your models will take 2 damage.
Well, I think I'm going to give it to her because
Then you gain a favor
I gain
anyway.
a favor for her. So
That was the
puts
one
me
that was
up to
showing.
2.
No, that was 1 because we moved it. You
just
didn't have
1.
any. Yeah.
Okay.
So now you'd have 1.
So she takes 2 damage.
And because there was a favor on her damage track, she cut herself, took 2 damage, gained a favor from that,
Yep.
but also cut and gained 2 favor from the tactic.
Because the tactic, can I use the tactic for him?
But see, now think about it. Your tactic on him is that you would gain 1 favor. But you have to spend 2 favor to gain 1, so that's not efficient.
Oh,
So
okay.
just stop right now and
Okay.
have 3 favor so that
Right.
when I attack you, you can spin a favor dice.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. It's not good to do that. That one, I feel like his is good if you're surrounded.
Right.
Do his, gain favor for all those
Right,
dudes,
right.
but you got to spend
there's just
2.
one.
So if there's not 2 dudes around you, there's really no.
Right.
Well, there is if you could take favor away from me. Remember, it does that too. But
Right.
because I already
You
don't have any,
Yeah.
I have no favor, so there's really nothing that can happen
So,
here.
but can I use her?
Her deal was to push me 2 inches away, which you said you didn't want to do.
But could I do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything though.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that.
If it pushed me like into somebody else, maybe.
Well, would it? And it pushes him back that way. It wouldn't push him. Like, which way would it push him?
Directly away from you, so this way.
Okay. So it wouldn't like push him into the column.
No, because I think the 2 inches doesn't get me into the column. And all that would do is fatigue me anyway.
Okay.
Right? So I would be like out here. So you really don't gain anything because then I would just get my free move back to attack him again anyway.
Right.
So I don't feel like that does anything.
Okay.
It doesn't protect her because I'm not going for her. I'm trying to get your other dude dead right now, I think. I got to think about this. All right.
But then I still have him. But it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yep. So we go to next turn because she started hers as a clear turn. She gets no activation. She took her tactic, which is to cut and gain some favor. It gained her 3, which is awesome. Totally unfair. Totally unfair. Birthday unfair. And now
That's
we go.
the rules of the game. That's not the birthday rules.
Now we go to the next turn, and because I'm last man standing, I clear all of my fatigue, including my exhausted, and I get to activate. So I'm going to activate him, and we are going to
I feel
move.
like he's gonna get pushed into the pit.
He just doesn't have any pushes, and you're not exhausted.
Oh,
See, that's a problem. What's her defense?
2.
Both of them are defense too, right?
They're all. Yeah.
But she is the easier to kill. Right?
Digganozel said you should give a seminar on how to not roll dice.
That's what's looking like today. I can't do that. Damn it. He's
That
got
would
a
be
net.
cool. Digganozel also said that we should make this a real hole in the table.
Some models fall down into a big
Well,
spike.
it said with a blender at the bottom.
Oh, what? How rude are you? These are actually painted models. That doesn't happen very often around here.
They look really nice.
All right. So we're just going to attack. I'm not going to move. I don't have any pushes now because I have one push, so my push doesn't really do a whole lot. Harrier, I don't think, engaged by this model, removes fatigue. It generates 1 favor, but it has no effect during a clear turn, which is what you just did. So that doesn't help me. Yeah, we're just going to attack. So I've got 5 attack. I have no favor to roll.
I'll take a favor to get 3. There's 2.
All right, here comes better dice. Here comes all successes, gang. All successes.
Mine are all successes.
I got 1. Are you kidding me? 1. Ugh!
Well, that means I have 4.
Yep. Attack again. I gotta do it. This is ridiculous. Gotta do it.
I'm just going to do 2 this time
Because it doesn't seem to matter at all. I can't seem to roll anything better than a 3.
Uh-oh.
Got 2.
I got 1.
All right. So 1 net success. Take 2 damage.
Hey, somebody likes
You have
us.
armor. 1.
1 armor.
So he takes 1 damage. And I'm exhausted. Absolutely abysmal dice rolling going on there. Welcome to the Snails. Jem, what's going on? Thank you for that follow. Absolutely awful.
All right.
So I exhausted myself and attacked twice again and absolutely did nothing except 1 damage. Like, yeah. Wow. Horrible.
So I don't think I'm going to move him, but I think I'm just going to attack.
Right, yep.
Okay.
In this game, your facing makes no difference. So you have 360-degree arc of attack. So you can, even though I am technically behind this model, it doesn't matter at all. You can attack 360 degrees. All they have to do is be within your engagement range. You can imagine like you're spinning every which way. So again, I think it's a very cool narrative feel to combat that there isn't a back arc. There's no back stab. There's no... You can imagine if you're in the Coliseum, you're paying attention. You're not here by mistake. Like nobody's sneaking up on you in this venue. Yeah. All right, so attack.
Okay.
And remember,
6.
you get, because I'm exhausted, you get 1 success added to your roll. Okay, and if you succeed overall, you get an additional push.
Okay.
2. So my defense is 3, and you're just rolling 5.
6.
6. He's attack 6
They're
too.
all attack 6.
Dang it! Dang it! No, he's move 5.
Move 5. He's attack 6.
I get nothing again. The birthday gods are murdering me.
So I had 4. That means 6. No, it means 5 plus a push.
5 and a push, yes.
5 and a push.
Oh God! And
Oh
you
my
can
God, I'm
you
gonna
can
go
choose
down
to
my
do the
whole
push
tree.
whenever you want. So it would probably just make sense to do it right out of the gates.
Well, I have a push in my...
Right. So you can do 2 pushes.
And I have another push here.
So it might be better to do the damage instead of the first push. You get to choose.
Oh, and I'm pushing you away from the pit.
Yeah.
All right, I don't really want to push that much then.
We're gonna
But I'm
get
going
2
to go
no
ahead
matter
and
what.
do... Yeah. So I'm going to do
2 damage,
2,
3 damage,
3,
push, 3 damage.
2. I'm going to do the whole thing.
You can't. You don't have 5, 6. Oh,
Yeah.
you do have 5
I
successes.
had 5.
So you have 5 successes and
an
a push.
extra push.
Holy hell! All right, so
So
it's
2 pushes, 2, 3, 3, 2.
2, 3, 3, 2. So you do 10, 11 damage, 12 damage, and he's dead. So he's defeated. So legit. Brutal. Brutal, baby. She murdered me. Absolutely murdered me. Defeats Marcus Furious. As if it was nothing. That's why being exhausted is such a bad deal, right? Because it gave you the additional success. It gave you the additional success. Yeah, the crowd goes wild. The Morituri death cult, everybody goes wild. Absolutely brutal. I love it though.
It's kind of a brutal game.
It's very brutal.
It's brutal.
Very
but
brutal.
I like it.
Yeah.
And not just because I won. It's kind of a cool game.
No, it's very cool. You can see how it creates this swirling melee. I mean, now we went in just blood and guts, right? Yeah. Learning the game, I always feel like if you're new to a game, go all in. Don't do a lot of dancing and pussyfooting around. Go experience the rules, right? Go throw yourself right into the middle of it. Fight the fights. Lose, win, draw, who cares? see what works so that you start getting a feel for your army. Do the same thing with Infinity, do the same thing with every game that we play so that we can say, okay, when you go in and you make a mistake, like running in with Infilix right away to see if I could get his glass cannon as his attack ability with all those attack dice and favor and at the beginning to do more damage, only did 3 damage. Didn't really do anything to you, and then immediately got wiped off the face of the planet. So, you know, it's and of course, birthday dice.
That did help a little.
Birthday
a few times.
dice.
Not too many times, though.
No.
Definitely not every roll.
No.
There were some where it just was, like this last one.
2.
Well, I got it 2. Yeah. 2 out of 4.
So, but it's, you know, it's something where, you know, if when you play it, get into it, get gritty, do it. You know, the birthday god shined on you greatly, but you also played an amazing game, bringing her to push Mycon into the pit, right? I didn't have the wherewithal to remember that, you know, oh yeah, she has a 3-inch attack range, so what do? You know, it really doesn't. I guess I could have, if I was smart, my momentum says I can make it, oh no, but I can't. He could have moved further, but that would have just put him closer to the pit. So had I been smart with him after I did that last push, as opposed to following up directly towards, I would have moved my 2 inches over here to where there was no way for you to get that push on me. So, you know, again, fail so that you can learn what you need to do. But I feel like you did everything right, you know, other than the big guy, bringing him out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he died pretty quick.
But the only way you could have done that is had you moved him close to the pole so that I had nowhere to go around to get to him.
Yeah.
Right. But that's pretty amazing. What if it's a ballet-themed miniature game, Diganoza? What are you talking about? Ballet-themed. I don't think that's a thing. You're just making shit up now. Ravenous, you're right, man. My dice absolutely not. Because, you know, this is one of those where it's really like at the end of the day, you're like, yeah, there's really no... Like, I had favor of dice. I had weight of dice on my side and couldn't roll. For 2 rolls in a row, didn't roll anything. But that's the way it works. Make you feel better. Right? That's the way it works. Yeah. So,
oh, thank you.
Thank you. So, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Where did that come from?
Is that $100? Are you kidding me? Holy hell.
I want to know who it was so I can properly say thank you.
Let me bring up the notifications here real quick. Yeah, I can't read here for whatever reason. That's ridiculous. It'll come through in just a second.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
There it is. The real Ashman. Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
Happy birthday.
He says happy birthday.
Something nice. Smiley face.
Happy birthday. Get yourself something nice.
Oh my gosh. Real Ashman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hype it up in chat for the real Ashman. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, my friend. Tremendous support there. Mucho apreciado. Absolutely awesome. What is that name?
What name?
Dickie B. Stumbles.
Dickie B. Stumbles.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my
Thank you for the
legs
resub
and
for
my
science.
branches with delight.
Thank you guys for all the support. Much appreciated. Yeah, as you can see, I mean, fast and brutal. I mean, what is it? It's coming up on 2 o'clock. So literally from start to finish, we haven't even gone 2 hours.
First.
Yeah, and so
the
30
game
minutes.
itself was maybe an hour.
Maybe an hour's worth of gaming right here with 3. Yeah. Now, they recommend from Arena Rex starting as a new player into the game, playing like we did with like a starter box worth 3 models. As you get more seasoned with the game and start to understand your faction and the abilities and get more comfort with it, they suggest going up to 5. And then as you want, you can expand from there. They're like 3, 5, and then 8. They say in the book, but you can see how you could put 4 models in. You could put one of the bigger Titans in. They have models that represent like Medusa and some of the more mythical creatures in the world that have more abilities and are a little bit more unbalanced when fighting against normal soldier foot troops. So I don't know that you'd put a Titan against soldiers, but you can play around with it and see. For instance, in the book, the scenario play that they have that meshes really well here is you got mounted creatures, which are really crazy too.
Yeah, because she had that one
Yeah, because with
thing.
mounts, you get a lot of power. You get the ability to displace models because as you charge in, move over them, it moves them out so you can knock things around.
She must have a mount or something.
Yeah.
Because when she's forcibly dismounted or mount is defeated.
So we just did what's called Munis, classic match between equally matched cohorts, and last player with models wins. That's what we did. Congratulations to Jen for kicking my ass. I told you she would, by the way, and I don't feel like I let her win. I feel like you guys teamed up on me, but I don't feel like I let her win.
The dice really screwed you over today.
Definitely. There is a scenario called Primus Superiorum. This one is three rounds. Okay, in the first round, you put a Titan against a Titan. So you bring a bigger model, a mythical creature, and those two battle it out. And then, oh no, it says in the first round, one player's Titan battles the other's cohort, meaning your soldiers. The second phase reverses, so that then my Titan would fight your soldiers, but you have multiple models against my one. And then your favor pool and damage carry over from round to round. And the third round is that any undefeated models from both teams come in and play. So again, another really cool narrative thing where you're like, your big fighter fights all my dudes, then my big fighter fights all your dudes, and what's ever left from both of our armies piles in the last one and fights, and all of the favor carries over. So if you started with, if you ended the second round with 3 favor, you get 3 at the beginning. If you had none, you start with none. So, and your wounds carry over, so nobody gets their health back. So kind of one of those war of attrition kind of rounds, which is a lot of fun. And then Venatio, which is a cohort of gladiators, fend off the vicious and spectacular beasts that surround them. So basically, one player chooses to be the gladiators with your cohort, and the other player deploys beasts only. And beasts have their own way of activating, like angry lions, like some of them can only activate when things get close to them, and so on and so forth. So really, really cool scenarios that you can play. I think the rule set, really quick to learn. You got a handle on your combos like immediately, which is awesome. Figuring out what you can do when, and how to get pushes, and how to use your damage track and exhaust models to use your clear turn and cast your tactics.
Yeah, the clear turn thing for this team is awesome.
It's brutal, right? It's brutal. The fact that she gets to remove all fatigue, even exhaust tokens go away on her clear turn. So whereas mine, you saw, I had to wait 2 turns before I could even do anything with him because I have no way to clear fatigue. Now, there might be other models in my army that I could add that would allow me the ability to remove fatigue by some special ability, but I don't have that in the starter box. So I feel like my starter box is literally just, I needed a little bit more finesse with my slight guys, a little bit more jump in, attack, move away kind of thing.
But with mine, I can essentially go full on for every model each round.
Move, attack, attack.
Move, attack, attack.
Move, attack, attack.
Myself,
move, attack, attack. And your next turn, clear it all off.
Yeah.
Cast your deal to get some favor back so that you could spend some defense dice when you need to. All your models have armor, which reduces all of that. So it feels like you've got that staying power, even though none of your models have, like, my big dude had the most hit points in the game. I think he's got 17 hit points. Of course, he got pushed in a pit before he took any damage. Each block is 5, so he had like...
Oh, no, mine only has 14.
14, yeah. So the big dudes had a lot of health, and it didn't matter for either one because of the pit of doom. Right? So, again, good tactics can take out your worst threat if you can get those pushes, and because both of them are on large bases, those were the right ones to be fighting each other, so on and so forth. So I feel like, again, you can change the flow of the game if you feel like as you're learning you don't want to have, a fatal pit, then don't put one in, add an additional column. Right? So we could have just had, instead of that being a pit, we could have had a 4th column. Now all this does is generate fatigue as you push models into it, so you don't run the risk of just losing a dude flat out like we did. So yeah, we wanted to experience more of the rules. I mean, if you wanted to go full on heartbreak, put multiple pits in the ground, you can see how as you start adding more and more traps, pits, hazardous terrain, that the game gets more and more difficult to figure out your positioning, because it's not just where you move. Oh, I move here, I'm safe. No, you're not, because chick with a whip whips you in the back and pushes you 2 inches into a pit of doom. So, you're always thinking more in terms of what could happen than almost what you have the ability to do right now. If I move here, what bad shit could happen to me? They could swarm me, push me into this pit, move me into this pole, fatigue me so I can't activate, all sorts of stuff. So I'm real excited about the game. I feel like tit for tat, it's one of the best combat systems I've played in a very long time. I put it up there with the Infinity combat system, which if you watch the channel, you know that in my opinion, Infinity is probably the strongest combat system in miniature gaming right now. as far as balance, feeling good, just quality of play, no real negative play experience. I don't feel like there's much negative play experience here. It happens so fast that even when my dice turn against me, which I hate, but even though it did, in under an hour we got a game done, we could stack them up and play again.
Yeah.
And so you've got the chance to have your dice go good for you again. Yep. As opposed to a game that lasts 3 hours and your dice go bad and now your whole day just got sucked away from you and you feel like, oh, why did I do this? This game, literally put more models on the table, play again. Change your play, play your opponent's army and see how it plays with that. Do that whole thing. And because this was an hour's worth of gameplay. And I feel like, wow, this is a hell of a game.
Yeah. And Real Ashman said, I only caught the last half of the battle, but it seemed like a good game, not too complicated. It really was very simple. You know, for me, not being a person, like we said at the beginning, who plays games like this a lot, for me to come in and win because I had enough of an understanding, and not just
she didn't win because of bonus birthday dice.
Yeah.
She won because she understood the tactics and how to use her army. She was looking for that clear turn, exhausting her army because she gets to remove all of that as her special ability. So she was using it to the fullest. But it wasn't 10 rules deep. I feel like if you went too much further, you'd have so many abilities that you'd spend more time looking at your cards than playing the game, and I don't feel like we did that.
Right.
I feel like, I kept wanting to look at my cards. I kept wanting there to be some silver bullet to help me out, but I'm like, there's only 3 things on my card. It's too easy. Yeah. So I didn't get the ability that in some games I'm like, oh, okay, there's something I can come up with here that saves my ass, and I'm like, nope, there's nothing here. There's only 2 things on the card. It's really simple, and I like it. I like the fact that creates this ongoing, it feels like combat. I mean, it feels like you wouldn't spend 2 hours playing this game with 3 miniatures. If you did, you'd be like, meh, meh. But I feel like, yeah, things die quick. It's like watching I hear you like gladiator movies, right? Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Have you ever seen a grown man naked? Makes you want to play it. It seems to me better than the game they played last Sunday. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, in making a comparison against other games we play, obviously I rate this combat system very highly. Next week we'll do the final review. Jen and I will sit down and get more in-depth. We'll have ability to play a couple more games between now and then, switch armies, so we get a more realistic sense of how it goes. Oh, you like your Egyptians?
I'm keeping mine.
Oh, damn it. But by next Sunday when we do the show, Jen and I will sit down, give you a full-on review of the overall. We'll do our standard availability, hobby, gameplay, and then overall statistics on the game. I have a feeling that Arena Rex is going to rate very high. I feel like you're probably going to give it very high marks, and that's a great thing. Having somebody that is in the gaming world but not so hands-on with gaming, and I could see you having fun the entire time. Not just because you're winning, but I think because you grasp the idea. Yep. And I think the first and foremost thing for anybody to want to get behind a game of anything, board game, playing Monopoly, whatever, if you don't understand it, it doesn't matter how many people are trying to tell you the rules. If it doesn't click with you, then it's not going to be fun for you. And I feel like Arena Rex has the ability to be fun for literally anybody that puts their hands on it. I would say do not pass go. Go buy a starter set. Get 2 starter sets. And sit down with a friend. Again, Mats by Mars. This mat, I think, is $28 for Mats by Mars. I might be lying. It might be $30. Literally, buy the mat, buy 2 sets. Secret Weapon Miniatures makes these Roman columns. They come in 3 pieces. I think they're like $8 a piece or something like that. Buy a couple of columns, make a couple of resin. You probably get them on Shapeways, whatever you want to get some columns, and you're off and running. Not a whole lot of money in terrain. Not a whole lot of money in anything else. The dice that you get with the game, you can buy dice that are themed. All the dice you've seen us roll in here have got all of the on the 6s are your factions deal. So Red Republic has that, but it's just a D6 game. Nothing special you need. You need multiple colors because you want to make sure that your favor dice are a different color because each success on a favor die counts as 2. So you don't want to just roll and then say, oh, one of these was mine. So you need multicolor dice. So you're going to need for each player at least 2 colors of dice. Other than that, though, I can't imagine a game being simpler to get going. Tape measure, models, playmat. The playmat is probably a really good thing to have because I like the idea of it looking like the arena like this as opposed to just, dirt and grass mat. So well worth it to go. Again, Mats by Mars makes these pre-done. This is just one of the selections on their website. Go support them. Get this stuff. Love it. Love it. Had a blast. Hope you guys had fun. Said watching felt good too since the rules feel clear and simple. Ravenous. Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing we love. Unlike, Deep Wars, unfortunately, is based on a rule set that is just too clunky. Right? The rule set's just clunky. In discussions with Deep Wars, with the developers, they came back and said, well, yeah, we've realized the rule set's not for everybody. They admitted that the combat system is a turnoff, but they're not ready to do rule set 3.0 for Deep Wars yet. But they have said that that's what it would take, and so hopefully in the future we would see a good kind of narrative background like Deep Wars do something that moves the rules to be fun like this. Because you've seen in 2 weeks span the complete difference in dichotomy in the way a game system can work. Deep Wars, great background, really neat scenario, really cool vibe to the game, horrible combat system. Just clunky, horrible to keep track of. You'd have to play a ton of games, make it your passion before you just felt like you knew everything about it. And I don't really think you're going to find a lot of people that want to work through that. I don't, and I play a lot of games. This game, literally just bam right into it. We played one game before you see us doing this, so it's not like we spend all week. We've told you before on this show, one of the goals is that we want to come in as noobish as we can. We don't want to have it be take it out of the box, put it on camera. So we do that beforehand, work through a little bit of the what ifs and oh my god and how does this work, and then we sit down and as you saw, we go back through the rule book, see if we've made mistakes. We probably made some mistakes here. If you're watching this video later on YouTube, please leave us comments down below. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. But, you know, let us know what we get right and what we get wrong. But the overall impression is what we're looking for as if we just took it out of the box. How do we feel about this game in and amongst other games that we play? The models in this are fantastic. The gameplay is fantastic. It's fast, it's furious, it's small, it's very condensed. There's not a lot of outlay of money to get into. Come on. Come on. Done deal. We could just review it right now, but we'll save it for next Sunday. So you'll have something to tune in for. Also, Tuesday's show, we will be giving away one of the models, the guy that we've been painting, the Tribune, in our paint-along. If you remember, during the course of the week, we've been painting this guy up. He is from the Ludus Magnus School, and that camera sucks. But we will be giving away one of the Tribune models, unbuilt, unfinished, ready to go for you. So then you can go back and watch through all the paint-along series and paint up your own. So make sure to tune in Tuesday. We'll be giving that guy away on stream, as well as taking care of the giveaways that we've built up today. So fantastic stuff. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been wonderful. I love it when it's smooth and clean and we have fun. And the birthday girl won. Yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Catch up with us. You can watch the rest of it if you came in halfway through the video. We will post it up on YouTube this week so you can watch it there or watch it on the VODs here on Twitch. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will catch you on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific. So thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank
Adios.
you, everybody.